All right, we are starting late, so I'm going to jump right into this. I'm not going to take a lot of time this morning. We're going to focus in on vision this morning. And the portion that I'm going to be talking about is simply the vision of ATI. What are we trying to accomplish here? What's the purpose of being here? So, vision of ATI, that's the note page that we're on. Training, not teaching. Habakkuk 2:2 simply says, "And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it." If we were going to choose a theme scripture for the vision of ATI, that would be it. In your notes, ATI is designed to further develop leaders. To further develop leaders. Everyone in this class is already involved in or has shown potential for leadership. And the thing about leadership, it seems like if you boil it all down, there are people that have the ability to lead. So if you're going in the right direction, you're leading people. If you're going in the wrong direction, you're still leading people. So everyone in this room, there's been leadership, at least leadership potential, if you're not already exercising that in one way or another, of leadership. People follow you. You have a level of influence with people. You have some of the qualities that it takes to lead people. The thing is, you can't lead standing still. I can't lead you in the right direction or the wrong direction if I'm not moving. So when you stop moving, you stop leading. So when we say that ATI is designed to further develop leaders, even if you have a level of leadership ability and you have a level of influence and you have people that are following you, if you say, okay, man, I'm a musician now, I'm doing something, I've made it. Okay, well, you're going to stop leading pretty quickly. You know, I'm a Sunday school teacher now, I've got something to do, I'm doing what God, I must be where I need to be. You're going to stop leading pretty quickly. But as we continue to develop the skills and the principles that it takes to lead people, we grow as leaders, we can continue to have people follow us because we're going somewhere. If I'm standing still, I'm not leading anyone anywhere. Just to define a few words, leadership, just the most simple definition I could find, the ability to influence others. I mean, we can make it complicated all we want to. We're talking about leadership. We're talking about the ability to influence people's decisions, people's actions, the way people live their life. You know, we want them to follow our leadership. Teach, because we do a lot of teaching in ATI. To cause or help someone to learn about a subject by giving lessons. Or to give lessons about a particular subject to a person or group. The idea behind our teaching, we do a lot of teaching in ATI. Every time we get together, we're teaching. But that's not the purpose of the class. That first definition said to cause or help someone to learn about a subject by giving lessons. If all you do through the course of ATI is learn about a subject, then it was not successful. Because this is Apostolic Training Institute or leadership training. And the difference is, in the definition you'll see it, train, to be taught the skills needed to do something, such as a job. To cause someone to develop an ability or skill. So we're not simply trying to just teach so that we can all put words together and explain what accountability is, or put words together and explain what leadership is. It's a process of developing these skills in our lives, in our ministries. It's a process of putting these things to action. That's what we're trying to achieve. The vision of ATI is, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. You have to use the right tools to build yourself as a leader. We're working on a roof, and Eric's not here, so I can pick on him without even asking. He was putting on some drip edge for me, and there were some nails that were left sticking up, and I had to go back. I said, hey, just pound those down a little bit. And he said, okay, let me grab my hammer. And he reaches over and he grabs my pair of tin snips. He was going to pound the nails down with my tin snips. What's going to happen to the tin snips? They're going to break. What's going to happen to the drip edge that's getting pounded on? It's going to get dented up. Now, if you take a hammer, it's going to do its job, and it's going to look nice in the end. In the same way, these are tools that we're receiving every time we get together for building ourselves as leaders. You know, if I try to lean on charisma, I can just be charismatic, without character. Okay? Sooner or later, that's going to fall through because I'm not using the right tools. You know? The same way, you also have to use the right tools to build your ministry. We build ourselves as people, and we apply those same principles, those same tools to our ministries. You know, that faithfulness. If I'm showing up faithful to every meeting that I have with my team, that's a tool that I'm exercising. You know, I can come in with vision 5 minutes late every single time, but after a while it's not going to matter how much vision I have because my team's going to be really sick and tired of waiting on me. So you got to use the right tools all the time to build yourself and to build your ministry. Now, the vision of ATI is to see personal growth in the lives of leaders that helps them develop spiritual disciplines and achieve greater effectiveness in ministry. We're going to boil it all down. What are we trying to do? And then we'll just look at 3 facets of this. Number 1, to achieve or to see personal growth. Personal growth. Each and every one of us as leaders growing from this class. You are the thermometer that measures the success of this class. If we want to know how well is ATI working, are we accomplishing our goals, all we got to do is simply look at how well we're applying the lessons that are being taught. How are our teams being bettered by what's going on here? Are people becoming more accountable? Are they becoming more faithful? Are they becoming better at translating and giving vision and inspiring their teams and influencing people? That's the thermometer that says ATI is doing really well, or, wow, what are we doing here? You guys are the gauge. Develop spiritual disciplines. Develop. Because sometimes we have a level of spiritual discipline, but back to growing, we've got to continue in this. We've got to keep going forward. Develop, to cause to grow or expand. Or I like this one, to elaborate or expand in detail. So when we teach these lessons, it's not a matter of, don't ask yourself, do I have that quality or don't I have that quality? Ask yourself, how can I better that quality? When we're teaching about a subject, it's not, okay, I got that one, I do pretty good at that. Or, oh man, I really need to work on that. We all are going to have some level of what we're talking about. We're all going to have some level of whatever lesson, whatever you drew out of the Axiom book. When you read that, you're going to relate on some level, but how can you better that? That was kind of when people ask, well, what should I write? What should I write? Focus on, number 1, what did it say to you? How can you apply that to your life? Because that's expanding. That's putting details down. Develop spiritual disciplines. And that is a discipline. It's not always what I want to do. It's not always what comes natural, but it's what I've made my mind up to do. I made my mind up, I want to be this way, so I'm going to do this. And it's a discipline. And number 3, effectiveness in ministry. And that's what we're after. Application of information. If all you leave with out of this session of ATI lessons that we've had over the past few months is a notebook full of lessons, then we've missed it. But application of information, so when you take this back to your team, when you take this back to your ministry, when you're applying this in your own life, are you applying the things we've talked about? And I've heard in the past 2 weeks 2 testimonies that have come out of ATI, where somebody said, man, I was in a meeting and our team was facing this struggle here, and I remembered this lesson that we had in ATI, and I applied what we learned and things went better. That's a testimony of ATI. That's effectiveness in ministry. Somebody else just simply made a point that, man, it's so nice that as a church we're investing in leaders. What we're learning in ATI is helping them to be a better leader, be a better person. And that's what it's about, effectiveness in ministry. ultimately it's about greater impact for the kingdom. All right? And I think I called us back up on schedule. So, Pastor?